Late entrant Yvonne Seymour had a blind spot during teacher training.
There's always people at university, there's always the ones that are there, they're great, they can use the computers, got them at home, all the technology at home. Not me. Could never do whatever the ICT lecturer tried to tell us. Whatever she told me, it never worked. And I was always the one that used to sit there and go, that's not what should have happened. So I'm not an ICT expert by any means. I don't know what's plugged into the back of here, but there's something plugged into the green bit.
She only really started to learn how to teach ICT once in school.
It wasn't really until I was teaching myself in school that I actually started to get the training and the skills that I needed to help me teach ICT and to teach the children through ICT.
So why is Yvonne in a programme about how to teach ICT effectively to special needs pupils? She's no expert, and she picked the subject up as she went along.
So I've really gone for using simple things that everybody's got on their PCs, projectors that we've all got, whiteboards that we've all got, and then develop my skills very much along this is what I can do, this is what I want to do for the children, this is what I want to teach them, I'll teach it this way.
Yvonne's idea is an electronic storybook. Pupils use text, pictures and sound clips to make their own e-books.
It was cold and damp and scary in the spooky woods. The towering trees looking down with angry twisted trunks.
The clever thing is that the range of ICT tasks is so varied that every pupil, including all special needs pupils, can join in and learn.
We are encouraging our children to become the authors and illustrators.
Y.
Allowing children to use their own success, their own writing, their own drawing, their own sound recording, to make something and have ownership of their own book.
Because we're going to insert something into our book, aren't we? So where do you think we're going to find the menu for the mic from?
To put it in a book is wonderful, but to put it on a screen for other children to share gives them a tremendous positive boost. It encourages their self-esteem, it raises their awareness of who they're actually working for. They're not just writing it for the book, they're writing it for somebody else to see.
Perhaps it shouldn't work. It's been devised by someone who's self-taught in the subject, and it depends on no flashy outside resources or elaborate work schemes. But it does work. Why?
The lessons were clearly very well planned. Yvonne had looked at the range of needs of the pupils in the class, and she'd grouped the pupils in different ways at different times. She looked at a blended learning approach. A bit of jargon, but that means using ICT in some context and actually doing things that don't use ICT. And I think that was very, very effective.
We're going to insert a picture into your e-book and to insert some sound into an e-book, OK? I think if you look at the lessons that were happening yesterday and today, I think it actually included every single pupil that was in that lesson, because there wasn't a single person in that lesson that didn't get something out of it. Everybody achieved. They all got their success criteria. They were all able to do some parts if it was only talking to a partner.
And that's easier said than done. Cape Primary in Birmingham is described by Ofsted as being in a significantly disadvantaged area. 80% of pupils are FSM and 40% are registered special needs.
Who can remind me what I had to do when I logged on? We do some thinking time first, Y3. Think. What did we do when we came in on Friday? How did I log on? Jordan?
If you write your name on the top part and then write your second name without a space, and then you needed to copy at the bottom where it said password, and then you needed to write password at the
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant, Jordan. When you do the e-books, because they can see that it's them that's putting the text in, it's them that's putting the pictures in, it's their friends and their sounds that they can hear. That's what's magical to them. It's not some disjointed voice that they've never heard before. It's not some pictures that they've never seen before and they don't relate to. It's pictures that they've seen, they've made and they've put into an e-book. So it all becomes very real to them. And because it's real and because they can see that it's what they've done and it's magical, it moves, I think that is what grabs them. Anybody think of any pictures that they could help? Noreen?
I think she could put like a wood, like she could put like tall trees or monsters.
Monsters in tall trees.
Yvonne hit upon the e-book idea after seeing it in use in another school. She started it to improve her pupils' reading, speaking and listening skills.
We decided that it was a good way to teach the children, initially, reading skills, because if we could put our voices onto e-books, then they could hear our voice, which would help them to read. Then we thought that it would develop their speaking and listening skills, put their voices on, so that's their speaking skills, they're listening to themselves. And then it just grew from there.
The woods were smelly, like the old cat.
Yvonne soon realised that e-books also presented a way of successfully differentiating tasks to cater for a class with a big range of ability.
Good girl. Have we got sound in our story? Well, not everybody was supposed to do that, were you? Who managed sound in their story? Well done. I split it up in a way where I'd got the more able children were able to write in their text themselves and were very able to go and think about the words they wanted to use. With the special needs children, I think it was important that not only were they able to access what they were doing, but they'd got the support to help them to access it. So I paired them. They were very much mixed in, very low ability children and middle ability children. So as there was somebody that could read a little bit, some children that couldn't read at all, but they were paired with somebody that had got some skills, somebody that got very, very low skills. And that one of them were able to read the text while the other one could actually type it in to the e-book.
D, O, W, N.
With pupils with special educational needs, they often need some structure and support in a whole range of learning situations. When we're looking at ICT, I think it's essential that there also is that sort of scaffolding, which can be provided partly by the technology, but probably more importantly, by the management in the classroom. And that's why Yvonne, by pairing learners together, by looking at those that can support each other, by providing a range of different tasks based on ability, was so effective in using the technology with those pupils. What it clearly does is support inclusion. When managed well, all of those pupils were participating, were engaging and were achieving.
The higher ability to children, we're going to then take on their ICT skills that step further, and they'd drawn their pictures and we wanted them to scan their pictures into the e-books so as that developed their ICT skills. And then because they were the better readers, they were able to read their own text and put their own sounds and their own reading words onto their text.
The smell of dead animals hung in the air. The silence was away, some. Nothing could be heard as we crept through the scary wood.
The lower ability children that weren't quite ready to do the scanning process were able to access the pictures from the shared area, again in pairs, so as they'd got the support of somebody else, of their working partner, to actually help them to then access the picture from the shared area, so as they were able to then put it into their e-book.
In terms of differentiation, we can make the resources fit the child. almost to the individual child rather than just a group of children, so that we're able to differentiate. Once we've got a resource, we can choose how that is meted out to each child, or we can change it to the needs of the child. If one child has a lower language ability than another, then we can bring that down.
The smell was horrible.
You can't do that if it's a paper resource, for instance, if it's been a manufactured resource.
How are they organised? What order are they in? It should be very familiar if you think about it. So what order are they in? The alphabet, aren't they? They're in alphabetic order.
For many teachers, ICT is still new and quite threatening, quite challenging. And I think the secret for those teachers is actually to get to know one piece of software really well. From my experience of going around to schools across the country, those schools that focus on maybe one or two pieces of software, learning as a whole school, not just the teaching staff, the teaching assistants, everyone involved in teaching and learning in the classroom, how to use that piece of software really well, often is the sort of foundation for really effective practice.
I think we've seen a development of all of our children, whatever special needs they have, whether it's a learning disability or a physical disability. The ICT gives us a further dimension to actually make things accessible for them. It allows them to express themselves more, and it allows them to fulfil the self-esteem that they actually need in order to make their way through the world.
There's the mic, but where on there does it tell us? Do you think we're going to find the menu from?
Insert.
Insert, good boy. What are we going to add in? If you're going to add our voice, we're going to be adding a text box.
Movies and sounds.
Movies and sounds, good boy.
If you took a snapshot of children 5, 6 years ago and looked at them again today, you would see more confident children, more able children. They will discuss their strategies with you. They will explain to visitors what they're doing and why they're doing it. 6 years ago, they probably couldn't have done that. It wouldn't be possible for them. And a lot of that is down to ICT and the impact that it's had.
I think what's very clear from the practice we saw in Yvonne's classroom is that what she was bringing to that was a newly developed understanding of the use of ICT in learning and teaching. What she had was the experience of teaching, and really what ICT is just a tool to support the effective classroom teacher. What's important is she knew what she wanted to do with the range of abilities, the range of differences that existed in that classroom. She knew what she wanted to achieve, and what was clever was that by using that growing understanding of ICT, she matched the two together. She used ICT, which at the end of the day is just a tool, very appropriately. The comfort, I think, there for all teachers is that we can all do it.
I think you've worked really hard today, children. Give yourselves a tap on the back.